Hello, I am SB Joshi. I am Deputy General Manager, Ashok Leyland Bhandara. I am looking after maintenance area in Ashok Leyland, and I have made one study module for engineering student, which is on the solar power system. You know that nowadays solar power system is most important and need of our, and year over year this cost of solar power system is getting reduced also and becoming economical. In view of the syllabus of engineering student, I have made this module particularly how the solar PV system, photovoltaic system is working, what are the elements of the system, and then how it functions and how the performance can be further enhanced. Let us start from what is the solar energy. You all know that solar energy is nothing but the source of power, either through light as well as a heat also. Just for example, when we use the magnifying glass and the piece of paper get burned if you put a solar sunlight over it. Similarly, there are elements on the earth which generates a voltage when a solar light, a sunlight they are exposed to. Selenium, silicon are the element. Many more elements are there, but primarily selenium and silicon. This junction of these elements, whenever exposed to sunlight, they produce the voltage, maybe millivolt or so. This is called a photovoltaic effect, and this effect is used to produce the electricity. But the history is that not now, but since 1767, the first solar oven was made, which was the utilization of the solar heat. And nowadays, of course, becoming electrical, we are more using the clean energy and electricity. The solar oven get a back seat, maybe because of time constraint and all. It required more time for cooking and all those things. But the first invention was in 1767 by Mr. Harrach, who is a Swiss scientist. Then 1839, Edmond Becquerel, who is a French scientist, who have invented photovoltaic effect. This effect, what I told in the beginning, yes, when any element, particular element exposed to sunlight, it generates a voltage. And that was year 1839. Up till now, from that instance, the evolution of PV system has started, and now it got to some extent established with economical way. And in last 10-15 years, we are almost all engineering students are studying it in more detail, and mass manufacturing is happening, and thereby we are moving towards a solar system. The in between, the solar heating system, you might have seen in last 15-20 years, many places, many home or hospital or hotels, the solar heating system is used for taking bath or some heating the water and all those things. That is also important use of solar heating system, which uses a parabolic collectors of heat, and thereby heat is generated and hot water is getting collected in one of the tank, and that is getting utilized. That is a solar heating system. One more experiment people have done. Why not to make a steam out of solar heating and then run a turbine? That is called a concentrated solar power system, CSP. This was in fact, though it is this experiment was done in past, not in India, outside. This was also successful, but not economical. That is why it get a backseat. But this is also a successful story of solar power system, concentrated power system, and thereby the running the turbine and generating the electricity. Our also one design is a solar passive design, means utilizing the sunlight in a winter season to get the sun rays inside your home and heat up also and get light also. Similarly, in summer, avoiding the heat of sunlight, but light should be there, but sun rays should not be there. This kind of design are made for certain homes, hospitals, and many more building. Nowadays the green building concept is nothing but this is the green building concept, utilizing the sun to the extent possible, sun, wind and all those things. That is a passive solar design using the sunlight, heat as well as cool season base. Next is our main subject, which is a solar photovoltaic system. There are many types of utilization of solar photovoltaic principle. One is a standalone system. What is the standalone system? You would have seen what we can say, a street light. Street light, many of you would have seen the battery is mounted on the street light itself. Then the whole day battery is getting charged because of solar light, and in the night time this battery gives the voltage to the solar light, street light, and thereby we get a light from the whole night. This is a standalone system, no connection with the electricity. Similarly, at remote location, in many forests, pumps are there, water pumps, fans in maybe remote location, light. Those are also standalone system where you cannot lay a long electricity line, but your purpose of small purpose like pumping water for animals in the forest, or giving certain lights to the security point of view for the forest department. These standalone systems are very famous, very popular, and being used in a big way, which was not the case in old days. This system is also, this is a standalone system. Another system is connect with the grid. Now, how to connect with the grid? Grid means electricity, what we are seeing, electricity board which we is supplying to our home or industry or hotel, wherever. And our solar power system is connected with this grid, with electricity board grid, and thereby supporting the grid as well as we become a self-reliant by using the solar power system. How? The first and utmost thing, this is possible and this is happening, you all know that. Before that, we will see what are the elements, how those elements are interconnected and get the solar power system, solar power for our regular use. How this system is used for individual as well as how system is used for the society or industry or for big installation. This we will see one by one. Now, one element, most important element of the solar system is a PV module, photovoltaic module. What we discuss? The selenium cells or silicon cells, n number of cells connected to each other, and thereby a big panel is made. That is a PV panel. This PV panel size is depends on the requirement. The requirement is, say you have a load of 200 watt only. So your panel will be approximately 2 feet by 2 feet. Your requirement is around say 1 kilowatt. Then you need a lot of panels, 5 times what I told you. But there are certain standard panels. For example, 1 meter by 2 meter panel is having a 350 watt system. This 350 watt system, 315 watt system, likewise these panels, 3 panels are used. Thereby it become a 1 kilowatt system. If you have a street light of only 20 watt, you did not have to have such a big panel. Depending on the size of the panel requirement, you can choose the panel. But of course, there should be a certain factor of safety. For example, your watt generation, your requirement is say 200 watt hours. Then your panel capacity and inverter and charger capacity all put together at least 1.5 times more than that. Means 200 watt is the requirement, watt hour is the requirement, you should have a capacity of 300, straight away 1.5 times. This is the most important element of the solar power system, that is a PV. The next is if you are using standalone system, then is a battery. Now what is the purpose of battery? As I told, like a street light, it stores and then it delivers. Again, the capacity of battery, depending on the use, depending on the current requirement, depending on the storage requirement. Many a times you can generate the power from PV cell for 2 nights. The battery capacity should be 2 nights. Maybe in any non-sunny day, you may not able to generate, but next day you can get the power. That is why generally nowadays the system is made for 2 days, standalone system. Your 2 days requirement is getting fulfilled with 1 day charging. This is possible by providing the suitable capacity of the battery. Again, in battery also there are lot of choices. One is a battery is a simple lead acid battery, what we use in DG set or in your inverter or even in your vehicle, 2-wheeler, 4-wheeler vehicle, that battery. But that should be inverter grade battery. This battery is a one standard one, but nowadays maintenance free batteries are also there, which you fit it and maybe after a life of 3 to 4 years you have to replace it. That indication also is available on the battery, as well as based on your experience you have to replace those batteries, but that is a one-time expenditure after every 4 years. Nowadays you are also getting the batteries having the life 5 years. Of course, you have to have trade-off with cost versus life. More the cost, more the life. But cost benefit analysis, if it emerges, your payout period is suitable to your capacity, your pocket capacity, you can go for 5 years, you can go for 3 years, depending on your pocket capacity or depending on your exact requirement. The next is the inverter. If you are not using a standalone system but you are using grid connected system, then inverter coming into the picture. What the inverter is doing? Inverter is converting the DC power getting generated by PV cell to AC power, because AC power is required everywhere, for home, for canteen, for every purpose in India or outside also. AC alternate power is the basic requirement. Generally 230 volt in India. In other places it may be more or less. 180 volt is also there in many countries. But 230 volt is a standard one which is used for a single phase. If you are going for a bigger operation, bigger version of the solar system, solar power system, it should be 440 volt. Even more than that, if you have 11 kV, you are going for megawatt for industry, then 11 kV system is also available in the market, or you can design or you can go ahead with that. Other elements are, other than these 3 elements are, other elements are the mounting of the panel. Panel mounting should be depending on the meteorological data in your region. If heavy winds is there or your location is quite dusty, then dust should not come, then panel should be south facing. Why panel should be south facing? You know that sun starts from east and in the west. So it means sun's travel is east to west. Then to get the fullest output from the sunlight, you have to have a panel on the facing towards south. The angle of the panel, ideal angle of the panel should be 18 to 20 depending on again meteorological data with the your normal horizontal plane. Then this is a mounting. Mounting should be foolproof. It should hold your PV cell promptly, perfectly, clamp properly. It should be easy for cleaning, maintenance point of view. Then inverter should be mounted at such a location. It should be away from rainy season rains. It should not be continuously exposed to sunlight. Panel should have a proper room, because you have maximum exposure of PV panel, and these PV panels are such a design that because of heavy rains, because of wind, or of course solar it is exposed, it does not matter. It is designed such that only thing is that you have to clean those panels time to time, because more dusty, more dirty panel reduces the output of the solar power system. Other elements of the solar power system are metering, then some cabling, connectors, special connectors, and all those things are the some important elements of the solar power system. What we have seen up till now, how the solar system is emerged, what are the elements of system, what is the principle of operation, and which two types, most important two types, one is a standalone system, another is a grid connected system. Now we will see one by one other elements which are impacting the solar power system. Yes, up till now we have seen elements of all solar power system required for installation, commissioning and better performance of the solar system. Now we will see other important parameters one by one. One is a peak sun hour, PSH, the most important. Every day there is a peak sun hours during which we get the maximum output of the whole day. For example, you know that sun rises at around 6 to 7 in between. But real output start around 10 a.m. to around 3 p.m. is the best ideal period to generate maximum voltage, maximum generation in watt hours term during this period. Remaining period again coming down, means 7 to 10 it start increasing, and then after 3 it start coming down. By 6 o'clock it becomes 0. At the evening it becomes 0. So this is most important, because this is a peak period during which you have to exploit maximum generation and utilize this power. Next is the operation of PV module. You know that, as I am telling, selenium, silicon are the most important element from which they are performing as a PV. Each element or each junction of selenium generates 0.5 volt, 0.3 to 0.5 volt when it exposed to light. Such elements are connected to each other, say in series. Say 0.5 is the generation output of the solar cell. And if it is a standalone system having a 24 volt battery, you have to give 30 volt supply to charge the battery. If battery is a 48 volt, naturally slightly higher than that cell will be required for charging the battery. But when it is a grid connected supply, if it is a grid connected system, then in line with the inverter's requirement, because inverter output, you know that if it is a single phase system, you know 230 volt is to be given as a output. To generate 230 volt, you have to give a certain power supply to it. It can from 24 to 48 volt, whatever you give, its output is a constant. That is a smart inverter which take care, irrespective of your generation or peak hour or non-peak hour time, it gives you 230 volt supply across its junction. That is a beauty of the inverter, because inverter is designed such that it is a program design, program as per our requirement, depending on the availability of PV cell, depending on output, depending on other element like frequency. 50 hertz is the frequency requirement, that also it adjusts. It should synchronize with the, if it is a standalone, okay, frequency they generally maintain 50, but in line with the electricity board supply, if it is 50, 50.5, 49.5, that also this smart inverter adjusts. Next is the energy output. Energy output of solar power system is depending on many parameters. One important is the temperature. More the temperature, lesser will be the output. We generally see that heat is there, for any purpose, any design, temperature criteria is most important. Wherever temperature rises beyond the limit, the performance fall down. Same is the case with the solar power system also. Similarly, radiation. More the radiation, better the output of solar power system, because that is a basic input for this whole system. But other elements are also important performance point of view. Rather, those are the losses. If dirt is there, lot of dusty atmosphere is there nearby, and your panel is covered with the dust, almost 2 to 5% output is gone. Similarly, temperature, similarly shading. If nearby trees are there, or some building is there and it gets shaded, your panel is get shaded, naturally output will fall. Tilt angle at the time of installation of solar system, if you could not able to maintain the correct tilt angle, or because of flexibility that tilt angle changes, then also output reduces drastically. Another loss is a distribution and connection loss. In fact, generally solar power system is used close to vicinity, means the near to the load center. Thereby negligible loss is there, but still it is not a zero. Like we read in our textbook and all, power station is situated maybe 100, 200, 300 kilometers away from our residence area. Thereby there is around 50% of the losses taking place. But in case of solar, it is just 10 to 15 meters away from the load center. Thereby loss is in the just 0.1, 0.2%. But if we combine all those losses depending on dirt, temperature, tilt angle, and lot of other elements, even quality of your PV cell is not good. Quality manufacturing defect may be there. In that case also you will not able to get the fullest output which is required for your system, and thereby it end up with the loss. Then as a whole, if we see, around 15 to 20% losses are taking place in the solar system also, ideal system also. How to calculate the daily generation then? If those losses are also to be accounted, and peak sun hour and then non-peak sun hour if we consider, then what should be the ideal output of 1 kilowatt solar? 1 kilowatt solar, we know that kWh formula, kilowatt into hours. If I install 1 kilowatt and I know that my solar peak hours are 5, naturally 5 into 1, that is a 5 kWh is my generation. But as I told, there are certain losses. If I take 15% losses, means 85% is the efficiency. Then 5 into 0.85, around 4.5, around 4.5 unit per day we are getting output idealistically. This will vary season to season. Maybe summer season you will get full, maybe winter also to some extent you will get, but in rainy season it may fall down to 3 to 3.5. But ultimately if you average it out, you will get 4.5 per day basis. This is the way we calculate. But of course, losses we have considered idealistically 15%. But if regular maintenance is there, cleaning of the panel cleaning with the soft water, not by hard water, then efficiency will always even more than 4.5 per day you will get the output. Another important parameter of the performance is degradation of PV cell by the life cycle. Say today you are getting 4.5, but generally it is claimed that the life of the solar power system is 25 years. Are you going to get a full output by 25 years also? No. As a thumb rule, 0.7 to 1% per year degradation is there. Means at the end of 25 years, your output will be 75%. This is a degradation factor in addition to what losses I told in the beginning. That is a 15% those losses, and this degradation, life degradation losses is 25. Means at the end of 25 years, losses of the tune of around 35 to 40% also. But that is treated as a idealistic, because we know that even our tube light, anything you take, as the life goes, the degradation starts. This is the case with the motor, this is the case with generator, this is the case with any machine. Wear and tear happen in rotating machine, but in this case there is no wear and tear, but still the PV cell output reduces. This selenium or silicon cell, whatever I am telling, the output slowly it degrades. Generation capacity reduces slowly. Thereby, but still, even if 1% per year is said as a very good, treated as a very good system, certain important protections are there. One important protection is a bypass diode. What is this bypass diode? In solar power system, bypass diode plays a very important role. How? Say because of shading, some cell are not working, or because of internal short circuit or something, some problem, some cell are not working, but all cell are connected in series. Then naturally the current is passing through that problematic cell also or shaded cell also. Then what will happen? If the current is more and that cell is become a resistance, then I square R loss going to happen, and thereby the small part of your PV cell module is getting heated up. It is called a hotspot on PV module. This must be avoided. This should not be there because it start degrading in a exponential way once this hotspot started increasing on your PV panel. How to take the care of this hotspot is nothing but putting a bypass diode across a small module. This bypass diode acts as like a bypass surgery. Instead of going through that cell, damaged cell, it passes through this bypass diode, and thereby hotspots are avoided, and thereby it improve the efficiency of your solar power system. Another is a blocking diode. Now, what is a blocking diode? Blocking diode are generally useful mainly in the case of standalone system. Of course, to some extent in electricity board, grid connected system also, but most important is a battery operated system or standalone system. Why? In the whole day, PV cell are generating the voltage, generating the power and giving it to battery. Now in the evening, they are not generating, but the connection is there to the battery. Then that battery current can come back to you, come back to the solar panel, the reverse power can go, and thereby your battery will get drained also to some extent. To avoid this, there is a blocking diode which does not allow reverse power flow. This is the most important diode which is used. This is a part of design, but whenever we are learning a solar power system, these two important blocking diode and bypass diode are very important element of the system as a protection. Now we will see solar micro power or microgrid system one by one. One microgrid system is a purely DC system. Means you need not have to inverter. You should have a load of DC only. For example, you have inverter. You need not have to have inverter, but you have PV cell, PV module, and PV module is generating DC. DC is going to the battery with a controller which control the supply and charge the battery, and this DC is directly used for lighting purpose. Means you should have a light installed in a DC, like a DC supply, like 24 volt or 12 volt lights also you can use, like in your car or any vehicle. Those light may be in godowns or also, so that there is no risk of short circuit and fire and all. In many places, small DC microgrid systems are used. Next is a large microgrid system. Similar system, only battery capacity is more and panel capacity is more. Thereby, instead of 1 or 2 home or 1 or 2 offices, you can connect at least 5 to 6 offices. Thereby, adding the more number of capacity of the battery and higher capacity of battery charging equipment as well as PV cell. This is pure DC, means DC to DC. No question of inverter, most economical system and most safe system also. Next is a AC microgrid system. Means as AC come into the picture, DC to be converted into AC, means inverter come into the picture, you have to have one inverter for this. Then inverter capacity also come into the picture, depending on your requirement, depending on the panel size, depending on battery size, inverter will be there, and that inverter will convert into AC, and then AC is fed to the system. This is a microgrid system. It means that maximum 1 or 2 home you can, or maximum 1 or 2 offices you can cover. Similarly, slightly more bigger microgrid system where bigger capacity of inverter and bigger capacity of batteries. Now AC and DC combined system also you can have. This is again double benefit. Means there is an inverter, means you can use AC. There is a battery and only DC load is there, that also you can supply by your AC DC combined microgrid system. This is a universal system depending on requirement, you can put a DC load as well as AC load. But you have to balance the total PV capacity load or inverter load. Accordingly, you load the system. Next is a hybrid system. Means in a daytime, you generate from solar, and in the evening time, you can have a wind generator. Small wind generator put on your home or residence or hotel or wherever, or in your industry. During that period, wind power will supply, and in the daytime you will get the sunlight, sun power, solar power. This is a hybrid system. Here also, as AC is there, naturally you require inverter and you require adequate load as per your capacity of the inverter. Now these are all, I will say, standalone, no connection with the state electricity board grid. But the most important, most feasible and most popular nowadays is a grid connected system. Means you generate and you connect to the grid of the electricity board. In Maharashtra it is a MSEDCL. MSEDCL you have to connect. How to connect it and what are the benefits, what point we should do or what thing we should keep it in the mind whenever we connect it to the grid. Naturally, everybody knowing that the power supply coming to your home as a standard way, laid the overhead cable from the street pole nearby your home or industry, then going to the energy meter with proper protection, and from energy meter there is again proper protection and feed to your various circuits. If you want a solar system to be connected, solar power system to be connected, or a microgrid solar system is to be connected, then naturally PV system will be installed on your rooftop, depending on the available size of the roof, depending on the required capacity of the panel, and depending on your actual electrical load of the system. This PV system is connected to the inverter. The inverter is interface with the grid power supply. Depending on the grid system power voltage, means amplitude and frequency, it align itself. That is a smart inverter. Align itself and get merged into the system. Now, when grid is connected as well as solar system is connected, and at the same time there is a load in your house or your home or office or industry, wherever. Means at the same time you are getting power from two sources. One is electricity, another is a solar. Still there is no problem because both are synchronized. Whatever is getting generated by the solar is recorded in a separate meter, and whatever you are purchasing from electricity board, there is a separate meter. Means in a day, as I told, if system is a 1 kilowatt, it has generated 4.5. And electricity board power was also there, but you have consumed only 3 units, means 1.5 unit more. This 1.5 will be getting feedback, back-fed to the system, which is getting accumulated. If your consumption is say 6 kilowatt, 6 kWh, then what will happen? You have generated 4.5, but 1.5 you have taken from electricity board. Thereby, the net meter concept has come. What exactly you consume, that will be charged as a bill. Whatever extra you have generated, that will be stored as a credit unit on your name. As soon as you connect net meter, as soon as you provide have an agreement with electricity board, you become a consumer having solar power system installed, and thereby you have 2 readings to be taken. Of course, the net meter reading is important because that is the exact unit what you consume. But what you generated, that is also important. And accumulation of units which are getting credited to your account every month. Many times it so happen, every month you go on accumulating, but at the end of year you have to have a, as per agreement. Now agreement is that after every 31st March, you have to surrender all the units. And electricity board give you some money as per their norms. For example, just for your ready reference or latest information, I have generated in a whole year 1000 units from my solar, and I consume only 900 units. Hmm? The 100 unit at the 31st March, electricity board will purchase. But rate will be a very feeble rate. That is only just a 3 rupees or so. This is a nationally means electricity board regulatory commission decide this rate. That is why they pay you that much only. But while we purchase from them, the rate is 6 rupees. But that is a standard process. This is the way net metering is happening. And in net metering, these meters are calibrated. These meters are specially designed and keeping in the mind, yes, we have to take reading where from those. These meters are also very digital and smart meters are there. They give all the data, like what was your maximum demand, how much you consume, what was the frequency, how many interruptions were there. Lot of these things are there in the meter. That is why those are called as a smart meters. Now, as we discussed in the beginning, also in between, yes, annual maintenance, regular maintenance, cleaning of the panel, tightening of the connection, that is to be done periodically. And as far as we discussed up till now is a 1 kilowatt or 2 kilowatt. But in industry, the requirement is in megawatt. One such 2 megawatt generation system, solar power system, I am going to send a single line diagram to your professors. What single line diagram means? 11 kV input is coming from state electricity board, and 2 megawatt solar power is getting generated, and it is connected to the 11 kV system. This system in between there is a load which is getting consumed also, and if extra generation is there, net meter is taking care. But in case there is no net metering, in that case that unit is getting wasted. This is the option in Maharashtra they have given. You can have a net meter or you leave it, because many times what it so happen that depending on your requirement, my requirement is 5 megawatt and I have installed 2 megawatt panel, then there is no question of returning back unit. There is no question of more generation than requirement. In that case, you have only captive system. That is called as a captive system. And this captive system is treated as a non-open access consumer. This is again new subject, new term, non-open access. Open access and non-open access, just for your information, who is dedicatedly depending on the electricity board, that is a non-open access consumer. Even if you are having solar, but you are using it as a captive, means I am having generator, but I am not selling electricity. I am using it for my own purpose. Similarly, I am having solar. I means any industry or any house or any consumer having this, but he is not selling. As long as he is not selling, he is a non-open access. As soon as he starts selling, he becomes open access. As we study or discuss the 1 kilowatt or 2 kilowatt residential system, here we are connected to the grid, and connecting net meter means we are non-open access. We are open access consumer. The treatment to open access and non-open access consumer is different. Rates are different. But still, looking at the cost benefit analysis, many consumer go for solar power. But of course, there is a initial investment. There is a, naturally you have to calculate what is the ROI, what is the payback period. Depending on your capacity, depending on requirement, you can think of own installation and start taking payback period and ensure this. Similarly, this rooftop, as I told, 2 megawatt, you have to check the capacity of your roof, because 1 kilowatt unit require 10 square meter place. Then just imagine how much there will be 2 megawatt or 1 megawatt. The roof size and roof capacity, the strength of the pillar should be there, which decides the load taking capacity and which decides the performance also. And there is a safety factor also. Looking at those things, rooftop can be done. Or otherwise, if you have space available in ground, you can have a ground system also. Similarly, while rooftop is there, means naturally person have to climb, clean it, those safety parameters, safety rope, safety hooks, clamps, standing platform, all those things to be maintained foolproof so that it is a safety for the people who are working. This is all about system which nowadays famous, and many more industries as well as residential people are going. For your reference, I am giving my email ID. You can contact me if any query is there, or you can call me on my phone number also. You please note down my email ID is sbjalb@gmail.com. Again, sbjalb@gmail.com. My mobile number is 9422833542. Again, my mobile number is 9422833542. Thank you very much for patience hearing. Please contact me if there is a query. Thanks a lot. All the best.